Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. I am so excited to be talking to you about some products from the Sale-a-bration brochure. Woo! So exciting. I'm going to be making a quick but beautiful card using three, not one, not two, but three different Sale-a-bration products. And then I'm also going to be using the new a new embossing folder from the 2021 mini catalog. So let's get started. Okay, so now we're at my stamping table, so let's get started on it. Like I said, I'm using three different products from the Sale-a-bration brochure. The first one is the Oh So Ombre DSP, and there are 48 sheets. You get 12 of each of the four different color / patterns. So we have Granny Apple Green, Roco Rose, Bermuda Bay, and Rich Razzleberry. So I'm going to be using a sheet of this, and we are going to be pairing it with the Corner Bouquet stamp set. Both of these different things, you place a $50 order, then you get it for free. So we're going to be using this stamp set with that. And then when we're going to be using the sentiment from Heal Your Heart, and this has some really great sentiments in it. We're in this together, and then I can't promise to always fix your problems, but I can promise you won't ever face them alone. Sorry for your loss. I don't know what I would do without you. Wishing I could heal your heart, and thank you. So I actually needed a sympathy card, and I'm not going to talk about it because it's still very fresh and very painful. I can just tear up a little bit thinking about it. Anyway, so that is actually how I ended up making a card. So it's a sympathy card we're going to be making. And I really liked how it turned out, so I thought it would be a great one to show you the versatility of this stamp set, okay? Because maybe when you are looking at this, you're going, well, it's a solid image. I can just stamp it in one color, and then, you know, really that's it, and I can only put it in the corner. And that is true, but I'm gonna show you another way you can use it in addition to that. So I'm gonna be doing that. So those are the two things that I'm using. And then I know this is kind of silly, but that little speck right here from A Touch of Ink, and this is a $100 stamp set from the Sale-a-bration brochure, and believe me, it's really, really awesome. I do like it a lot. The images on here do not reflect the actual size. These are at 65%. They're quite large, and it's kind of has a watercolor wash to it when you stamp over it, and it's supposed to be not exactly perfect, just like watercolor is. So it's really I like it a lot. And then the sentiments are very pretty, and they are a really good size. So, but for the card that I'm using, I'm going to be using the dot with that. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have a piece of Whisper White, and just a scratch piece of paper, not anything major. And I am going to be using this particular piece of paper. So this is Granny Apple. So we're going to get out the Granny Apple ink to go with it. And here is the big one. So there's two sizes, and we're going to be using the big one. But what we do today, you will also be able to do with the smaller one. So, and make sure that you ink up your stamps or your ink pads. I noticed that as soon as our heat was on, living here in Minnesota, that a lot of my pads were drying out. So just make sure that you have a lot of ink, especially because this is a solid stamp. Okay, so after we ink it up, obviously we're going to be stamping it in the corner, and so I'm going to be putting it down here at the bottom. And this is a scratch piece of paper, so it's not imperative, but to save paper. and give it a good smush. Okay, and so we got our Granny Apple Green. And yeah, I think that looks pretty like that. If you're gonna be pairing it with this, you can use your imagination. That looks really good, doesn't it? It does, it really actually does. And then if you were to put a sentiment from here or any sentiment, I think it would look great. So obviously there we got the first one there. I didn't even make that card, but there is a card right there. Okay, and I'm just gonna fan this, make sure it's dry. And we are done with the green, so I'm just gonna close it up. And since I use Granny Apple Green to match my cardstock, I want to add the little small flower image in the stamp set to go with this. And because this paper has Rich Razzleberry, I just copied that. So we're gonna be bringing in Rich Razzleberry. I love to just look at designer series paper and just stick with what Stampin' Up! Is suggesting in their paper, and usually it's pretty successful. So I'm gonna get out the little flower image, and I'm also gonna get out the other small leaf image, and we're gonna use that in a little bit. Okay, and so now we're just going to stamp over, because Rich Razzleberry is you know, darker, so we'll be able to stamp directly onto this. So we're just going to start by going over some of the flowers that look like this stamp. And we'll add a couple maybe down here. Isn't this looking so cool? And we're gonna go over here. Notice I put 2 there to cover that one up, and I'm gonna get those other little ones there. Okay, isn't that looking so cool so far? I just love it. But we still have this big one here, and what I found the easiest way to do it is we're gonna make a big flower out of it. So don't stamp in the middle, just start at like on, you know, a spot, and just go around in a circle over the stamp, or I should say over the flower, and filling it in. And then you got a big flower. Isn't that so cool? I just love it. Okay, I kind of missed over here, so I'm going to add one more on top of it because I can. There. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to heat set that because I don't want to smear it. Okay, and now normally we put our sentiment in there, but what I want to do first is I want to actually die cut it. So I'm going to be bringing in my stitch rectangles, and I'm going to be using the 3rd one here. And I never know what to say when I'm writing my PDFs, so I'm calling this the 3rd largest. Okay, so if you get my PDFs, this is the 3rd largest, and I'm going to step out of camera for a second, and I'm going to put it like about right there, and I'm going to die cut it. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I die cut it with the 3rd largest stitched rectangle die, and we have that. Is that not so pretty? I love it. So think of all the different other colors that you could put on there. But we're not finished. Okay, so now we're going to put the sentiment, and like I told you, it's going to be a sympathy card. So I got my black ink, and we're going to be doing Wishing I Could Heal Your Heart on here. And we're going to place it about right above the flower. Oh, I just love it. I love this font. It's so pretty. It's whimsical. It's soft. That's what you want to convey when you're sending a sympathy card. And now I'm going to get out that little speckle from the other stamp set, which you are going to love the stamp set. I can't wait to show you a card with that. And now we're going to just randomly add some dots to our centerpiece here. Okay, I think that is good. All right. Okay, so that is our centerpiece. And so now we're going to be bringing in the Oso Ombre. And I have a piece here. This has been cut down to 3 7/8 by 4 1/2. And I have a piece of Whisper White. I'm going to grab my bone folder. And I have a piece of Whisper White thick, actually, because I'm not going to be putting a layer on the inside. And so I love the thick Whisper White for that. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this on at the top. And I want the ombre part to be seen, so I'm putting that at the top. And since it's 3 7/8, we kind of have a bigger white area, and that's what I want. And then this is going to be going on here like that, but I want to also pull out more of the rich raspberry, but I still want my card to be clean and simple. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I was going to use an embossing folder. Dang it, that's okay. I will show you something with it in a minute. But anyways, okay, getting back to this. So we're going to be pulling in a piece of rich raspberry, and this is 3/4 of an inch wide, and this is bigger than this. I want it to be like have some hanging overness, and we're going to be putting it down here. Again, this is to pull out the rich raspberry, and it's going to go something like this. Isn't that looking so cool? Because that complements it so nicely. But because we have new product, I want to add, if I can find it. Oh, looks like I pulled it out, and oh, here it is. I also pre-ordered the Blackberry Bliss ribbon. And I'm not exactly sure what suite this is from, I'll be honest with you. But we're going to put a piece down here because blackberry and rich raspberry work so well together. So we're going to just put that on this little piece here. So we'll just center it on here. Okay, and then we're going to put that on there, and then I want to have like about a 1/2 inch gap so that we can see this. So we'll just center it down here. Okay, and then I have a tip for you is when I first made this card, because this is my second one, actually this is my third one, I use dimensionals. But if you don't want to use dimensionals so that you can have more of an easy way of mailing, you can put another piece of cardstock behind it and make it thicker. And so I have another piece of the Whisper White thick cardstock that's a little bit smaller than this so that I can just layer it, because our Whisper White is really awesome. Oh shoot, great. I kind of ruined my tape. Okay, so my tape just isn't working, so I don't really know what's wrong with it, but we're moving on because I want to show you this card. And I'm going to use my double-sided tape. So anyways, I put tape on here, and this is a little bit smaller than this. And so we can just flip this over and put this on the back of it to make our stamped area thicker and very straight, because the Whisper White is kind of thin, but it is the best paper to stamp on. And so now if you wanted to put dimensionals on it, you can. Otherwise, I think it doesn't need dimensionals on it, so we're just going to put it on like that. And a little bit off to the side. Okay. And then, so we're wishing I could heal your heart. So we're going to stamp on the inside. And like I said, this is the thick Whisper White, so I'm not putting another layer on there. And from the Heal Your Heart, we're going to be putting Sorry for Your Loss on the inside in black to match it. I just love this font. Is that not pretty? So you could just leave it just as is, and this will get the message across. It's just so pretty, like I said. But we're gonna go ahead and use the other little image, the little leaf in there, and then bring back that flower and just do a little stamping on the inside. Nothing major, just a couple little bits, and I'm gonna put it down here on the bottom. Should be stamping on my scratch paper. Okay, and then we'll just add a couple flowers. There. Okay, so we have the inside done, matching the outside. And then what I did was I put on a retired little heart. So if you have these, you could put this on here. This was from last year's catalog. Otherwise, you could leave it alone, or you could put a clear rhinestone. But anyway, so that is my quick and easy card using 3 products. And here's the other one I made, and then I had a little accident with it, which I'll show you here in a second. So this one I used just the plain paper, and I ran this embossing folder in it, which is the Painted Textures 3D one in it. It's so cool, and I was going to do that with this, but I forgot. So we did the exact same thing here, and then when I was all finished, I don't know how, but I got that on there. So obviously I'm not happy about that, but I still think I can still send it even though I have that. So is that not cute? So that's one creation that you're going to want to be able to make at home. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you guys later.